I am James Armstrong, Chief Scientific Officer at MedArc Incorporated. I want to talk to you today about the Kontrol BioCloud real-time air sampling and airborne pathogen monitoring device, a SafeSpace technology for the purpose of reducing operation downtime due to airborne infectious agents. Now, this product has applications in the current COVID-19 pandemic, so I want to briefly touch on the pandemic and its impact. I'll talk a little bit about how we see the future of workplace pathogen management, how SafeSpace monitoring technology works, and how it can be implemented in your spaces. The COVID-19 pandemic has touched many lives and caused unprecedented disruptions to the global economy. We are all impacted in many ways. Reduced personal interaction, uncertainty about the post-pandemic economic landscape and policies discouraging new investment, disruptions to education that slow accumulation of human capital, and high levels of just confusion in general that has a major impact on all aspects of economic activity. Now, ground zero for this economic disruption is the operations and personnel running society's critical infrastructure, people whose professional skills are in high demand and work that cannot be done from home. Again, COVID-19 is just one of the many viruses impacting workplace productivity. However, the one thing that all of these pathogens have in common is that they spread primarily through the air. In fact, aerosol transmission occurs specifically in settings like indoor, crowded, and inadequately ventilated spaces where potentially infected persons spend long periods of time. There is growing evidence that viruses remain airborne in indoor environments for hours, potentially increasing in concentration and accumulating over time before settling onto surfaces. You have all lived through this pandemic, so you know how it's been. However, did you know that even the average influenza season costs about $45 billion per outbreak in North America due to direct healthcare costs and lost productivity? And specifically with regard to dentistry, contemporary studies have estimated a 30% reduction in revenues due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, vaccination programs have been shown to reduce lost productivity by up to 25%, and the current PPE standards have been able to reduce about half of the remaining losses. However, current measures do not fully address all productivity losses due to airborne pathogens. Can we take back even more of these losses? As we know, it is normal for an environment within a confined workspace to be tested or monitored to ensure worker safety and continued reliable operations. Current examples include radiation exposure during X-rays, carbon dioxide monitoring of volatile compounds, construction material aerosol generation, ozone, and of course the oldest environmental sensor in our society, a fire alarm. As we move into the future, we believe it will become the new normal to conduct air monitoring for airborne communicable disease within the workplace to efficiently protect customers and staff, ultimately preserving economic productivity in the face of environmental uncertainty. This is where we believe BioCloud fits as yet another tool in the toolbox. By monitoring and protecting spaces from infectious agents with this SafeSpace technology, we can further reduce productivity losses by ensuring the ambient virus load within a given area is below levels that are known to be contagious. By first protecting spaces, we can better protect those people within them. One of the main problems with the current pandemic is actually knowing where the virus is. We can't see the threat, so some argue we must enact blanket precautions, assuming it is everywhere. BioCloud actually tells you where the virus is, and more importantly, where it is not, taking guesswork and anxiety out of the equation. We know that losing key personnel or completely shuttering a facility can cost dearly even over the short term. Being able to clearly identify the space and employees potentially exposed to near contagious levels will dramatically reduce downtime due to false alerts and limit the effective reach of real exposures. So, how does the BioCloud work? Well, it's manufactured by experts in complex air sampling and monitoring technologies. Its intake draws in air at up to 150 cubic feet per minute. Air is passed through a sampling pump, and all aerosolized particles are drawn out into a solution. That solution is drawn into the detection chamber, which operates on technologies that have been proven for over 40 years. Again, it's critical to note that this device is capable of detecting many airborne pathogens that are known to contribute to lost workplace productivity, not only the current hot topic of COVID-19. The detection technology is different from and has many advantages over the famous human PCR test. The main being that it detects the actual virus, not just fragments of the virus's genetic material. It functions somewhat like a smoke detector, triggering a discrete internet-based notification once viral particles reach a threshold just below contagious levels. The major advantage is that it simply takes too long after viral exposure for humans to develop symptoms. The virus has already been in the environment for 3 days up to 2 whole weeks by the time symptoms manifest in humans. Add another 1 to 4 days to get test results back from those symptomatic humans, and you won't actually know about the presence of viral particles in your environment for several days up to a month after they were there. When you add asymptomatic carriers into this equation, you can see how relying on the development of human symptoms to alert you to the presence of contagious viral levels just has an unacceptable lag time. So what does the BioCloud tell you? Well, no news is good news. If the alarm does not go off, the levels of virus within the environment sampled have not accumulated to contagious levels. That means that even if someone who was sick had unintentionally passed through the space, they did not contribute enough virus to the environment for it to reach contagious levels. If they did, the alarm would be triggered and appropriate protocols could be enacted rapidly before further risk of human-to-human transmission occurred. Once the air sampled contains enough virus that it is nearing contagious levels, whether this happens all at once, think of an infected sneeze into the sampling port, or slowly over time through repeated sub-infectious exposures. A discrete notification is sent to system administrators, and local policies can be put into effect to isolate, test, and trace only those present at the time of the alert. Now compare this to the current standard, where the virus must accumulate within a space to infectious levels, then infect a human. After an incubation period occurs, during which asymptomatic spread can occur, this individual will ultimately develop symptoms. It is only at this point that we are alerted to the presence of the virus. Due to this lag and possibility of spreading during the interim, a very wide contact tracing, monitoring, and isolation net must be cast, and significant downtime due to personnel loss is incurred. And with the BioCloud, we are able to escape relying on our employees and customers as canaries in our figurative coal mine. Instead, we use the device to detect the virus in the environment before infectious levels are reached. This enables much more targeted responses to viral environmental alerts, ultimately resulting in fewer personnel losses of shorter durations. Suggested installation locations are many, but could include waiting rooms, patient treatment rooms, as well as staff rooms, and anywhere where many people will congregate. In summary, we believe live airborne pathogen monitoring will become an integral part of critical workplaces in the future. BioCloud brings to your attention when the actual virus has accumulated within the space to near infectious levels, allowing you to get a massive head start on containment protocols relative to waiting for human symptoms to alert you to an infectious agent's presence. Not having to wait until employees develop symptoms before being alerted to the virus's presence can also help avoid the added WSIB claims associated with contagious disease. Combined with vaccination, rapid testing, and contact tracing, monitoring spaces for airborne transmission as part of the overall arsenal of technology to combat the COVID-19 pandemic can help to protect staff and reduce costs associated with facility downtime and/or personnel losses. Thank you very much for your time, and please do not hesitate to get in contact with us for further information. at sales@medarc.ca, or please visit our website at www.medarc.ca. Thank you.